How's it going, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Got a banger for you today. Very excited for this one. Got a little bit time before Jexxa gets here, but I want to start a little bit early just to ramp up. Get excited. Let's go. Let's go. ProveX. Proofs in the pudding. Proofs in the pudding. There we go. RH to the max. How's it going, Joe? Welcome, welcome. UFO has landed. Good to see you. Good to see you all. Yes, so today, man, all right, I hope you got some coffee. I've had mine. We're going to get into it in just a few minutes, but let's check in with the sacrifice, see how it's going. See how the sacrifice set. You guys in the sacrifice set? I think there's a few people. A few people have sacrificed. According to Richard's Twitter, 700K. I love that you can see who's winning, supports multiple chains and events for the same address, and click around and see where it's all coming from. Very cool system. Let's check it out. Let's go. Let's check it out. Dr. Sloth is here. Welcome. Welcome to you as well. Good to see you, man. Saw you tweeted earlier. Thought about responding, but why am I not able? Every time I go to this, it doesn't show me anything. Very annoying. I am perturbed. It just that's what I need to click. That's what I need to click. Am I just like dumb? Did I not just be like, can this say something? Can it say, hey, click this if you want to actually see something other than sacrifice stuff? I guess there's two buttons there. All right, let's go. Let's go. So now we can see $786,000 total USD value, 15 billion points. So that's the question I had before. Does this mean, is that the supply? Are the points going to be, I don't even know if I've read like what the points mean. Does anybody know what the points mean? Rate per 10,000 points. I know there's a 3x multiplier and then it drops off. I was watching some stuff earlier, but where can I find, Deb, where can I find more information about sacrifice? Why is this? How do I not know what this stuff means? Or is Richard going to have to live stream to tell us? Yeah, just there we go. The table's being set for live hours. Yeah, I think so. Briss is here. How's it going, man? Hex Wizard. Good to see you. Yeah, I think so. I mean, me and Fast were talking the other day. There's too many things happening in a row that just keep building and building and building. And it's like, this is more than likely going to lead to something. And now it led to, hey, new project. Hey, Mr. Prove. Hey, actually, ProveX. Hey, sacrifice. You don't get to sacrifice your Hex tokens, your PulseChain tokens for it, which I think it'll be interesting. What are your best theories of why that is? So the other day I mentioned before the sacrifice started, and we knew that, I was like, I can't think of a reason why. Only reason I could think of why is to make it more frictionless for people outside the ecosystem to get in. And maybe there's some angle of it, because if you look at the website, it says nothing about PulseChain, right? I mean, there's not a single thing on here that talks about PulseChain that I can see. It's not even listed on the things you can sacrifice for. So maybe this is this kind of like, hey, this is, but that's the thing too. How do I even know what network it's going to be on? If I'm going to try to get people, if I'm going to say, hey, go read this about the sacrifice, it's like, what on here tells me what I'm actually, it just says I might get some coins. I think one of them said it might be some coins. So I don't know. Is there another button I'm not clicking? Your sacrifice couldn't make a political statement, believe in capitalism, all this stuff. I mean, maybe people don't care. Maybe it's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna make some money. I got extra $1,000 or whatever. Let's make some money. Apparently, plenty of people were not taken aback by that, because is that 1,226 total wallet sacrificing, with the leaderboard 40K. So that's interesting part too of the leaderboard itself. So is this up to Okay, so it's up to 3x bonus. So 3x for the top one looks like, or close to 3x. And then it just drops off. So let's go to the last page. Can I go to the last page here? How do I do that? Okay, click that button. So the last one's, yeah, just get a 1x. Okay, so the bigger get the more multiplier. Interesting. So to get the first spot, you just got to be more than 40K right now. I mean, of course, but if you want to, interesting. I wonder if there's some math around the likelihood of, okay, this amount of money will pretty much guarantee you a 2x or 2.5x. Should be pretty interesting. Anyways, the guy who loves sacrifices, especially ones that don't involve the Hex tokens, is here. Welcome back to the show, Jexxa. How's it going?
Thanks, mate. I'll take that as a compliment, I think.
You were pleasantly surprised. You're like, you know what? I'm glad I can hang on to my core tokens.
Yeah, no, it's definitely thrown everyone for a bit of a twist, this one, hasn't it? A few different things have come about.
A little twisty. Yeah,
a little bit twisty. So you just, good. Yeah, so you're just having a bit of a dig through the SAC site and seeing what's going on.
You know what? Everyone seemed confused and full of excitement in both positive and negative directions. So I thought, hey, let's go look. Let's go take a look and see the 1,000 people sacrificed and what's going on there.
Yeah, I was just having a look as well. So yeah, looks like the same mechanic as last time, where there's the bonus structure, which good and bad in that. Obviously, it's done to create FOMO and competition, but I think last time it led to a few behaviors that weren't the best, with all the pooling and things like that. So people trusting a lot of other people with funds and such. So is what it is.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. If I click, that's the leaderboard. If I click recent, you can see a lot of money. I mean, this is definitely stretching across chains, and it's only been not even a day. It's been 22 hours, somewhere through there. Base, BSC, Arbitrum, Polygon, Optimism, a little bit from Avalanche, a little bit of Bitcoin, Solana, 41K from Solana. Got some Doge.
So you seen the little video I done before the 12 minutes of coke one?
Yes. I watched it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, obviously a few things have sort of shifted in towards the end of that. I extrapolated what this one might look like. I've got a couple of things wrong. But what I think still is true, that he's trying to capture that external capital. So he's trying to get not so much funds from PulseChain, but trying to drag in people and funds external to the system, which I think is so that was the thing that we said. A sacrifice is not really successful if it's just taking people's existing value. What you need to be doing is dragging in external value to grow the wealth of the chain and build the bucket so that more things can be done with those SAC funds. So he's obviously very much targeting that this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to dig in that too. Like I said, I watched it. I was like, man, I really want to understand this. I really think your whole the virtual cycle theory, being able to transfer value forward in all these different ways. And then this happened, and it's like, okay, I still think for the first one that makes a lot of sense. But now it's like, how has it changed now that we know there is no transferring, at least before it's transferring Hex to the next one, and the PulseChain and PulseX, a lot of it, and of course, all kinds of stables and stuff too. And then now it's, hey, there's no Hex, there's not even eHex. He even explicitly said no eHex either, which was
but also let's caveat that with a yet, because the disclaimer on the site also says we can do whatever we like. So I don't know. The rules aren't set. That's the thing. I don't think he will. But what I'm saying is the rules aren't set.
I mean, the people who sacked, there were a couple of people who sacked Hex and PulseX, like 100 million PulseX I saw, and 10 million Hex. If he does change it after 21 days, it's gonna be like, are they going to get anything too, or is it just like you just did it at the wrong time? I just feel like it
no, I
complicates
think
things
if,
when that happens.
I don't think you could. If you then open it up and say, "Yeah, we're going to accept everything," I think you've got to credit.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it kind of complicates things. That's where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like again, it could go either way. But my first instinct is like, oh, that's a lot of like
Yeah,
wish. I hope that happens.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, I'll be totally honest. My percentage of that happening is low.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'm with you.
But there was very clear. It was very much spelled out in the disclaimer. And what we seen last time is we seen new coins get added along the way. Now a bit different this time because last time you had to build the system on the fly and incorporate Bitcoin, which had its own challenges because you come from a different addresses, Monero, and so there was all these things that had to be built last time. So they were getting added over the course of the sacrifice, whereas this time he's probably got all that tech already built out, so it's not such an onus.
Real quick, before we move on to where can I buy the ProveX token? There is no official ProveX token. If there is a ProveX token that you're buying or looking at or seeing on deck screen or whatever, there may be many of them. I don't know if there is. It is not from Richard Hart. So if you're buying it and you know that, that's one thing. If it's a meme coin or something like that, that's one thing. But do know that there is nothing official from Richard Hart. That is the ProveX token. Do not get scammed or do not think you're doing something that you're not doing. If you think you're buying something you like that you know and you know that, that's fine too.
Don't even think you're going to get a ProveX token because that's not a given either.
It's true.
You don't know anything.
And the money can be sold. I remember
sold.
That was like a new thing. So I'm like, that's very explicit. That's right.
Yeah.
No confusion there. No confusion.
Yeah.
Do you mind going through kind of the? I mean, I thought the theory, the 12 minutes to cope video that talked about the cycle and stuff was super interesting and like really made me like, wow, that is. You have this perspective that I don't think a lot of people saw before or kind of even know how to put together. And then how has it changed now? I'd love to dig into that.
Yeah. Obviously, I've been digesting what's happened over the last 24 hours and seeing how that fits into sort of my framework of how I've been thinking things. And yeah, we can have a chat about what that means now and where it could possibly go. And this sacrifice doesn't necessarily mean it's the last one either. So yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. Yeah. There's a lot of what ifs. But yeah, I'm happy to. So I guess just in the chat, has anyone already seen my 12 minutes of cope video, or am I speaking to the same audience all the time, or other people want to hear about it?
I'd say a few probably have. If they're on my channel, they've seen me probably posted and stuff too.
Yeah,
so that's one part. But then how is it different now? I think like setting it up.
Yeah.
That's what I want to understand. I want to be like, is this still in play, or is it now okay? Like, can it be different for each sacrifice?
Yeah. There's definitely some parts that translate through. So maybe I'll spend 10 minutes on that, and then we can spend the time postulating on what might happen or how that affects everything.
Sounds good.
All right, let's have a quick go. Let me just set up a screen, and I might have to put a set of glasses on because I'm a bit blind.
All right.
See how we get. I'll just try not to wear them because just the glare that comes off them. So I'll see if I can do it.
Okay.
Partially blind. Where are we? This one here. All right, there we go. Let's bring that one up.
Next time I'll sack for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who are like, I'm not sacking, like prices down. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like if there's this time it's different. I think we're in a totally different situation on sacrifice than we were before. A lot of the sacrifice was Hex. A lot of it was people who, again, made plenty of money, had plenty of money. Environment was way different. And now, and that's why I got, billions of dollars in the sack. Now it's almost been a day. I don't know if we're going to hit $1 million in the first day. So this could be a lot lower and a lot, more bullish for it not just dumping like crazy.
Well, we can talk about all of that at the end, I guess, because I've got a few thoughts on that as well. So maybe if we put a pin in that one, we'll come back to all of those sorts of questions.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So quick history lesson on Hex and the AA and how that sort of worked. So if you were around at that time, you'll know. But if you weren't, Hex launched by using something called the adoption amplifier. It was basically a bucket of Hex that got topped up every 24 hours. People would come along with their dollars in the form of Ethereum. They would chuck it into this bucket. And at the end of the 24 hours, it would calculate how much ETH had gone in and give you your share of the Hex that was sitting in that bucket. Then it would reset and the bucket would fill up again and the time would start again and ETH would get flow in there again. So that was all pretty good. That was a novel way of launching something before Pump.fun or Pump Tires or Uniswap for that matter was a thing. So this was actually very novel and it was actually a good approach. Where it got sort of sideswiped a little bit was this thing called Uniswap also launched. And with the launch of Uniswap, it made the provision of liquidity for tokens instant, whereas before you had to go get a listing on an exchange. So that removed a big barrier to coins being able to list and have liquidity instantly. Before that, that was why the ICO model existed. You had to collect all the funds and then dish out the tokens and then try and get it launched on an exchange so people could actually trade the token. Like if you couldn't get on an exchange, your ICO was worthless pretty much. So Uniswap was a game changer. But what it done during this phase, because this was conceived before that existed, it set up an arbitrage opportunity between the tokens on Uniswap and the market price they were showing and what the ratio between the ETH going in here and the Hex coming out was. So there was a differential there. And this is where if you've heard of Richard recycled all the ETH, this is the reason why that was done, was he was smoothing out that arbitrage opportunity because there were malicious actors that were taking advantage of it. And they were essentially fleecing the community of tokens that were in here, getting them at a cheaper price and selling them on the market or vice versa. So they were playing that game, it was open market, so fair game. Those people that were doing that got pretty pissed off because Richard did step in, or whoever was behind this stepped in and started getting rid of that arbitrage opportunity to make the open market fairer. So that's the reason behind why that actually happened. But effectively, at the end of it, what we ended up with was a bucket of ETH. Now, I'm using the figure of 10 mil worth of ETH. I don't know what it was. I can't even remember. Do you know, RH? Do you know what he ended up with at the end of it?
Oh, at the end of the
AA?
The end of what?
The amount of ETH that was.
I mean, I've heard different numbers. I've heard 500,000 ETH. I've heard 1 million ETH.
Yeah.
But
I think that doesn't take into account the ETH that was getting pushed back through to fix that ARB. So that's where there's a lot of discrepancies about how much actually flowed through. So I don't actually know what this figure was. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of what I'm going to show you, but I'm unsure what that figure was. But let's just say that was our starting balance of about 10 mil in this bucket of ETH that can be used for good things, let's say. As a user, you might have contributed $1,000 total value when you purchased through the AA or brought some off market or whatever. So let's just say your total starting value was around $1,000. Now, what we've seen happen over the course of Hex was we've seen a phenomenal price increase. So the headline figure is 10,000x. Depends where you take that from on the chart and where you brought in and yada, yada. So there's a whole lot of people that were in different scenarios there. Some people didn't get that. So it just depends where you brought along this part of the chart, how much you tipped in, how much your ETH was worth at the time, whole lot of variables. But let's just say for headline figures, we went up 10,000x. That was awesome. What it meant was this guy with his $1,000 has now got $10 million worth of paper value. So his net worth has gone up from $1,000 to $10 million, which is phenomenal. However, in real markets, that doesn't mean you can cash out your $10 million. It's just not the way markets work. We all know that. You're bound by how much actual underlying liquidity is sitting behind that market. And as I've said before, that's not a Hex thing. That's not a PulseChain thing. It's not a crypto thing. It's an everything thing. Every market works based on how much liquidity is sitting behind the market. So if you're a big player in TradFi and you're trying to buy into smaller plays and things like that, you suffer that same problem. You end up being a large fish in a very small pond, and you can't literally exit. So what actually happened? Well, if everyone was to try and exit and take out their full paper value, you would just basically end up with a chart that just gets smashed to zero. And look, we've seen that play out anyway, not just in Hex, but across the crypto space in general. Everyone's sold out and prices have come down. So that's just the nature of markets. But no one, you can't create 100 millionaires and beyond. We're seeing decamillionaires. A million. Yeah, you just can't create that many and then expect them all to cash out. So you've got to start thinking more like the wealthy do, where like Elon Musk, he's not going to be able to cash out all his funds. Everyone says he's a billionaire or a trillionaire or what he's close to now. That's paper value. And on any given day, if the price of Tesla gets smashed on the market, his paper value gets smashed as well. So it's not money in the bank. But what they do is they use that wealth that they've accrued. They don't sell the asset. They put it to work doing something else. So he probably uses it as security to do other things or get loans against it, or however you can do that and put it to work. So effectively, the way I seen last sacrifice, well, starting with the Pulse one, and I'll bundle them in together. I'll include the Pulse one and the PulseX one in together on this, and we'll just treat it as one event. They were pretty close together, but we've seen the value of these assets rise up swiftly. Then the timing for the SAC meant that, and the mechanics of the SAC, which have changed this time, was such that if you used Hex to sacrifice into here, you could actually claim it at this value, not the value if you tried to sell it all and then do it. If that made sense. So you're able to transfer the dollar value that you had accrued on paper into the sacrifice, which is good. That means you get to carry that value forward. It also meant in some jurisdictions that was a tax write-off. So it was a loss event. So anything you did sell, you could offset by the amount that you had lost. So it was a very tax efficient way to do things. So it was very clever, a very wealthy person's way to do things. Now, what is important though is, well, first of all, how did the price of this chart rocket up so much? And it was a combination of obviously people got in very low. The coin started at a very low figure. I think you could argue that some of these funds down here were pushed back into the chart to support it. People see green candles, external funds flow in, push the chart up, and you just basically get this cycle where more green candles, more external funds, people that brought in down here, DCAing in more. People were just on a ride. So the chart pushed up really hard, which is great. Awesome headline figure up here. Once again, paper value. But what the sacrifice allowed to happen was to bring in external capital. And that sort of translates to what's actually happening today as we speak as well. So this massive headline figure where everyone's done 10,000x, external people, a lot of people you probably have seen on YouTube that wouldn't publicly come out and support Richard, push their funds into this sacrifice because they seen what he done over here and thought, you know what, I'm going to give the guy a chance. I'm going to push some funds into the sacrifice pool and let's see what he does with it. If he's that good and he can make a chart do 10,000x, I'm going to back him. So we got external funds come in to the sacrifice. And that's really important because what that enabled was this value that got transferred from, say, Hex into here. The sacrifice pool can't really sell those assets down without absolutely destroying the price of the asset. So they were effectively locked in here. The entity that was looking after this address has never sold any. They just seem to be taken off market, which is a good thing. It's no more sell pressure, but you can't actually realize the gain, the paper gain from that value that was pushed in there. But what we did end up with a bunch of capital come through and top up this ETH bucket. So the 10 million, say, that we started with here became sort of 1 billion. Now, once again, figures are a little bit liquid here. On any given day, it depends on the price of what Ethereum's running at to what this is now currently worth. But I think we were up around that high 1 billion mark in terms of realizable value. Does that sound about right to you, RH?
Yeah, I think 1 billion. Yeah, you're talking about like today's value or just like kind of like an average?
I think over the period, yeah. So over the period, I think we got to that figure now. I don't know. The funds have dispersed in all different directions, so I don't know what that true figure is now.
At the time, I think it was over 1 billion, but now, I mean, isn't that where it came down to, the 700 million?
Yeah, we got down to 700. I don't know where we sit currently, but so for the purposes of this, we'll work on 1 billion. But the concept is we topped up this bucket quite substantially, so it's magnified from this first amount. Now, so where we sort of sit, I'll delete this just for now while we're having a chat, and I'll come back and put that back in. So now that was cycle 1. So now as we move through to cycle 2, we're just, in my mind, we're actually just entering this phase. So that's why I had this circle over here before, was people that came in early got this run up. They got the benefit of that run up, got to transfer their value forward, and you're essentially positioning yourself for cycle 2. So you positioned yourself 2 years ago for cycle 2, and that's where we currently sit now. Is we're at this part of the market. We've been at this part of the market for a long time. We're at the bottom of the chart. It's you've set your positions here. I don't think we've seen alt season run properly. I think you can look across many other projects and see that they've never reached their all-time highs. They've been grinding sideways. Some are a lot down. Big ones as well, like Cardano and others. They just haven't performed. ETH hasn't even busted through its all-time high.
Well, so, also Richard mentioned, he doesn't care about alt season. He cares about our season.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's where I think this ties in. Yeah. That's why this sort of works. So where are we now? So we've positioned down here. Now, some people are positioned better than others because they've been through cycle 1 and they got to ride this up, transfer the value through and park it here. Others came somewhere along any point in this chart. Maybe they just came in with fresh capital. Maybe they brought a top and they're underwater a bit. So everyone's in a different position, but we're all sort of sitting down here with whatever we've brought into this, whatever we carried forward. That's where we're sitting now. Got a massive bucket of ETH sitting behind us. We haven't seen this chart run up. It's been pretty crap. We're actually underwater, relatively speaking, to the SAC value. However, a lot of external things are happening that I think are setting the scene for something like this to happen again. Now, could be very wrong, but the actions I'm seeing tend to suggest that we're setting things up. So outbound marketing outside of crypto, all the tablets and things like that get sent out. You're getting eyeballs outside of crypto, which is important because we need to attract additional capital. You want external capital to come in. On the crypto bro side, we've seen Ethereum get tornadoed, a large amount of Ethereum get tornadoed on the ETH chain. That made people perk up and go, what? But someone's just moved, what was it, 150 odd or 170 odd thousand ETH into a tornado. That's a big chunk. Like it was noticed. We've seen tweets go out about it. So it was actually noticed. We've seen the PulseChain ETH reserve go up on the leaderboard. So it's about getting eyeballs and recognition. So you're starting to build an audience but we haven't had any of this run up. And I keep going back to a comment that Richard made. If there's a green candle in the forest, but no one's there to see it, did it really happen? So there's no point pushing a chart up if there's no eyeballs looking in on it where you can attract these fresh investors and fresh capital into the chain. So how about you get their attention, get their eyeballs, and then you start doing something? And I think that's sort of where I feel that's where we are now, where we've primed all the pumps, we've got things going, but we haven't seen any movement on the chart. And this comes back to your comment about, I don't care about alt season, I care about our season. So if we were to sort of assume that, hey, maybe some of these funds that are sitting out here are going to be used for good things, and maybe they come into the chart a little bit and start pushing a few of these candles up, I think you'll see a couple of things happen. You'll see people that have probably been sitting on their hands and just waiting for something to happen. When they see movement, they'll find capital that they've got sitting in, tucked away in other little corners of their wallets and things like that, and start to DCA more in as green candles flow in. So we all know the FOMO gets hold of everyone, and if you're seeing things start to move, you'll want to be a part of that. But externally, you'll see people that are watching the price go up, and they might see it go up, I don't know, 2x or a 3x, and that will get a little bit of attention. Then you see it go up another 2x, and then it starts to be, okay, well, something's happening over here, and you'll see fresh funds flow in. So that's sort of where I sort of see that playing out. Now, that brings us to today, and where we are sort of now is, if we were to do that same sort of scenario, I thought maybe there might be a chance where this runs up, maybe this sacrifice run, at the time I said it could run for 12 months or something like that. And then that would give everyone a chance to roll over into the next cycle. Hopefully we attract more value coming in, which is what I think Richard's trying to do now. Build up a new bucket of, I've said bucket of ether, but bucket of whatever it is. And then you get to load up for the next cycle. So you can basically create this virtuous cycle where you're growing the number of investors, the funds invested, and you're pushing it through into each cycle, which is what wealthy people do. You've got to grow your wealth. So there's nothing, this is a very valid way to do things. Feels a bit crap because the whole cycle's being crap at the moment, but we haven't seen this play out. And my theory was at the moment, like most, and I think the sentiment out there is most people that are sitting down here are going, why I'm not chucking funds in here. Why am I going to chuck funds in here? Like I've underperformed here. But this can quickly change. Now this is running for 60 days. At the moment, you can't put cores in there. So the scenario I've laid out here, at the moment, it's off the table, because the only way you could do that is you'd have to sell your core positions down into something else to go into here. And I don't think that's what Richard his intent is here. I don't think that's what he wants to see. He's made it very clear that in his tweets, don't sell things at a loss. His last tweet that I seen this morning, which was about 7 hours ago, was something that not everything is about you. I'm paraphrasing here. Not everything's about you. It's about external funds. Did you see that tweet?
Yeah, that was one. Basically it kind of ties into, I think the reason why it's not been open to PulseChain coins, but open to everything else. He's
trying to get external capital.
Yep.
He's trying to get those external eyeballs. Now, one of the pieces of the puzzle to be able to do that is you obviously need, if you've got crypto bros, you need avenues for them to be able to get in. And I think Liberty Swap is a pretty good avenue for people to come in from a lot of different chains. But also this sacrifices a chance for people to be able to get across as well. But Mr. Prove in of itself is, and I don't know when it's going to launch. I don't know whether it's a now thing or a later thing. But for people sitting out in the real world that are not crypto native, that have been receiving tablets and things like that, how do you make it easy for them to onboard? And at the moment, it's go get an exchange account. So sit through all the KYC for that. Get some ETH or something else and send it out to Ethereum or Base or whatever. Oh, okay, now you can bring it across the bridge and hit the PulseChain, and then you can do something.
And they just bought Solana. Just lost their attention. Yeah,
that's right. So you've got to have a mechanism to go from the application that most people already have, so a Venmo, Revolut, or whatever it's called, PayPal. How do you get from those straight into PulseChain? And that's really what this tool does. So in terms of timing and how this is going to look, I don't know. Like I thought this was too early in the cycle to carry out sort of my thought on what had happened here, unless this was going to run for 12 months or something like that, or however long we think the market's going to need. Which comes back to the statement I made at the beginning, like this may not be the last one of these. I don't know. Maybe there's another time where you do something else like this towards the end. Or maybe someone thinks that the cycle is going to top soon and this is all going to happen very quickly. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there. So yeah, I'm sort of, my thoughts on it are evolving as more information comes out. But I think it was really important that tweet I seen. Are you able to bring that one up from Richard? Because I think that was actually worth reading. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't been out of bed that long, so I had a quick read of that, and then we're sort of getting ready to come on here. So I haven't sort of gone through every word in the tweet meticulously, but I think the general.
It's a good one too.
I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah, he's been on. Yeah, we didn't even talk about streaming yet. You saw the streaming one though, right?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, there was one from it was 7 hours ago that I seen. Probably where was it?
Is it not that one?
Yeah, that one. What's that? Yeah, that one for 8 hours. Funny story.
Is it this one? Oh yeah, it is. Okay.
So anyway, it's hard to understand it, but a lot of the time when people are doing stuff, you are not their target audience. Other people are. And appealing to those other people to bring to a better place is what allows you to have more impact in the world. So I think that's what he's trying to do, is he doesn't want you guys dumping all your bags to go into this. What he's saying is, okay, let's open up the channel so we can actually reach those other people and drag them across, hopefully into a chart that's looking pretty good. I think that's the way you get people across. Now, I don't know whether that's going to play out that way, or there's a lot of people that did sacrifice last time that because of what's happened will not do it this time. And I'm not necessarily people in the community, but other people outside of the community, other YouTubers that would have sacrificed. Ivan, for instance, people like that have just gone, well, this is a shit show. But if this actually gets up and runs this time and does a Hex-like move with these new assets, I guarantee people will change their perception on it. Oh shit, he's done it again.
They'll never doubt him again.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Yeah. That would be a nice redemption, wouldn't it?
Why do you think? What is different? I want to dig into this too. Between accepting the course, all those got locked up. I mean, people effectively considered them burned, right? Like, you don't think they were going to be sold. Locking up that supply, and then this time, I almost feel like it's this like talking through the blockchain. It's almost like the signal of like, I want you to keep your cores. Like, don't
sell the shit.
Yeah, I think the price is going to go. Hold on to them. I want you to. I want you to get those mad gains. It almost like feel like that's the message.
That is, I think you're right. That is the message. Like, don't go selling your future gains then, because you're at the bottom of you're positioned yourself ready for this run. You've waited all this time. Don't go giving it away now. And that's what I'm saying. Either like there may be something like this that pops up at the right time where you can go with your cores and move that value across. I don't think this is clearly not that time. Unless something happens in the next 60 days, this is clearly not that time. I think you'd be.
And the story would be, if you're able to do that, the story in the future, if ProveX and everything does really well, it'd be like, oh, wow, I had to wait, 2 or 3, 4 years, whatever, to then I get nothing from I had to give away my cores again for another sacrifice into this new thing. So my PulseX sacrifice did nothing for me. I had to roll it into again, and it was like 5 years, it wouldn't be the success story that we want to see from hey, if you just hold, it'll go up eventually, that kind of thing, which.
So that people, it's the dev do something quote where everyone's expecting something to happen, but the timing has not been right. And it's clear when you look across everything that's happened in crypto, the timing has not been right because the macro winds you've had headwinds. So trying to push against that, you're not going to get bang for your buck. It's going to underperform. It's just not the right time. So it's taken great restraint to not do anything amidst the sea of complaints. So I think we can all argue that it would have just been a massive extraction event if you do this at the wrong time. So I think we've had to bide our time, not so much because of what's been going on chain, but just what's been going on in the world. The fact that Ethereum hasn't done anything, and man, that ETH should be worth way more. It has had so much value built in to that chain over the last 4 years that hasn't been reflected in its price. I think we're now. Yeah, exactly. So Tom Lee's pretty bullish on it. He's calling for 20K or something like that. So he's the Michael Saylor of ETH. I don't think that story's finished yet.
I think the other part of this I wanted to ask you too is if it is kind of this transfer of value, and then this time you can't do cores. That means if assuming you just can't do cores, it's not going to change. Those are still going to stay with whoever holds them. You still got the OA and stuff there with that. There's going to be a lot of liquid coins that. Do you think they'll be sold? Do you think it'll just kind of will it be we'll see another tornado cash of a bunch of ETH come? It'll be sold into ETH or something, and then what happens from there?
So at the moment, it looks like Richard's trying to grow this bucket here, which will get added to this one because nothing's been deployed from here. So he's already starting on this bucket, and it depends on the timing of the cycle. Is there? If this all plays out the way I'm sort of postulating and this runs up and we get crazy gains on here, I think it would make sense to run another sacrifice. And everyone that is currently in where we are today saying, ain't no way I'm sacrificing again, their tune will change very quickly if they get hex type gains on these bags here, because they'll realize that they have to do something with it. You're going to have to push some of it forward. And it'll be tax efficient way to do it, and it will. And if you understand, hopefully people will understand the game by then. And go, you know what, this guy's. I'm going to back him again, and hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it won't be a 4-year, 5-year wait again. But
let's play that out for a second. So let's say there is another sacrifice. And the core coins have ran up, ProveX has run up, everything. Everyone's happy with their 10, 20, 50, 100x, whatever. I still want 10,000x, but let's go. People have made gains. You think the next sacrifice, would that include the core coins? Or if it doesn't, would people sell the core coins to then get it? Because they're actually worth money now?
Yeah. And that's where I think maybe that's a timing thing, and that's a mechanism that can be used. And that's honestly what I thought was going to happen here. I thought this would run out for a lot longer, and you would use the same mechanism. but I don't know what he's thinking. He's obviously trying to bring in this fresh capital without affecting people that are sort of sitting down here, is my feel. Which when you take a step back and you look at it, you go, yeah, that's kind of clever. I get that. And if Mr. Prove launches and this is rallied up, you'll be able to go and buy it anyway. You'll have funds where you can go and buy it. So I just that actually may end up being the better thing. Imagine if everyone's in mass profits here, this launches, everyone that's come into this sack gets their tokens, and then everyone rolls into that and sends this on a roaring chart as well. So that's not that terrible either, is it? I don't think there's a loss situation there. We'll see what happens.
So we talked about the utility. We talked about the virtual cycle, a little bit on the utility. Why do you think this is good for, like, why is this going to be a success? Like, I know it sounds like cool tech, but does it, I mean, to me, it looks like it brings onboarding, makes that easier. You know, it's kind of like, it reminds me of Liberty Swap a lot, but like kind of different tech. We know how easy that's made onboarding. Like, why is this the killer app, you know, for PulseChain?
And
for all of our bags.
Yeah, let me be brutally honest. I don't know enough about the tech of what is getting laid out in front of us, so we're all making assumptions. And I see, if I'm comparing it to what's that other tool, ZKPK or whatever. Yeah. So if we make the assumption that it's possibly a part of it's going to look like that, then onboarding is easy because it's peer-to-peer. There's some things I don't like about that. Like that arrangement between the two peers. I think you're revealing a little bit of information that maybe I'm not that comfortable revealing with people I don't know. But the steps to get in are very simple. It creates a good market, and it gives people the chance to. Let's just say you've got a bunch of Pulse. So you've been on this run, and you've now got a bunch of Pulse that you want to sell. You can put it to that peer-to-peer market, which then doesn't smash the chart down. It makes it available in a market for people to come in and buy without them getting slippage as well. So it works both ways. The buyer can have a bit of a assurance that they're going to get a certain amount of tokens, and the seller knows how much value they're going to get for their tokens. You're not hammering it down on the price chart of the market. So there'll be a time and a place when that makes sense to do it as well. So I think that's really important.
I think that's the most confusing part is the privacy piece of, I mean, just understanding, okay, this isn't like a mixer. This isn't like that kind of thing. No. It's supposed to be from what I understand is like, it's supposed to do peer-to-peer to keep it away from the blockchain where your data is. Like, I'm still not even clear on that part, but it seems like that will be a function.
Yeah. So I think, and I like I said, I'm still hazy on the tech, but I went and had a look at that other protocol to see how that was running, and effectively you've got to send funds from PayPal or whatever you choose to do to someone else's account, and you've got to prove that you've done that transaction. Now, how do you separate that? So basically, let me rephrase that. The funds would go into like an escrow type thing. I would prove that I've put them in there. The other person would prove that they've got the tokens there, and then the interchange would happen. But I still think the receiver would know where they've come from, and definitely the person sending it would know where they've sent it, because you've got to give them your Revolut handle or whatever, Revolut ID or whatever. Yeah,
that's the piece where I think I don't think it's going to be like, oh, I got to give you, like, it's not gonna be like a wire form. Like, oh, here's all my information. Here's my, here's my address. Here's my phone. It's going to be like, hey, if you have a Venmo account, or, have like screen names, and you got all that stuff, some number, some email, maybe an email address, like whatever. I think it'll be, I would replace bank account with like unique ID for a service you KYC with before.
Exactly.
The people know that. So I went out there freaking out, oh, I gave my bank account information. Just because you have something that can land your bank account doesn't mean you got to give away all the information. We have the tech now. So I think I would think about it more like that. I don't know for sure, but that's the way I make sense.
Yeah. and there might be a way where you can do that, where you have a handle, it's hashed a particular way or whatever, it's obscured, and then it's still provable though. So that's what I like.
One-time use ones. We could see some one-time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And that's what I'm saying. We're calling it too early on the tech because we don't actually know what's coming. But if that piece of the puzzle is fixed, I think that's a game changer. I think that then maintains your privacy but gives you that peer-to-peer network. That would be pretty cool.
What is the strategies you've seen? I was kind of thinking about this a little bit today. Ever since Scivive started, I've been thinking like a little bit, trying to put some things together of what I'm thinking for it. And this is one that I had today. I think the simplest, most compelling ProveX strategy so far is holding on to PulseChain core coins and sacrificing anything else, whether fresh capital or other chain stuff, because the bullish case for the ecosystem would reward that. What's been going through your mind now that we know this? I know it's still early, but it's like, what do you think is a good strategy for this if you're going to participate?
Yeah, so I think you bang on with the first part is don't go offloading your cores. All you do, you're hurting the rest of your bag anyway by doing that. So if you sell 30% of your cores, well, you've just damaged the other 70% of your bag. Like, why? I think it's been pretty clear that that's not the intent that Richard wants to see. He's spelled it out 3 or 4 times. Don't sell your shit is basically what he said. So I think you'd be crazy to go against that for what? For a gamble into a sacrifice that you don't know who else is coming in what size or what's going to happen. So you don't know where you're going to sit. I think you're pretty right. If you want to have a chuck at it with external stuff, look, hey, knock yourself out. But I wouldn't be selling core assets to do it.
Yeah, it's. Do you think that this is do you think this is any kind of, I guess 2 pieces of this. One, is it a catalyst for our season? Like, do you think ProveX will lead into PulseChain season? And 2, do you think, how well do you think ProveX will do against the rest of the course? Like, do you think it'll outperform because it's new and cool, or do you think the other ones are like, okay, we got a ton of people about to get on board with PulseChain. They're going to see these products they like that are not privacy stuff. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to matter, man. I think if you get if the general concept works, I don't think it's going to matter what you're holding. As long as you're on the chain, we all know how intrinsically linked everything is. So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it will matter where you're positioned. Obviously, you can get a little bit more edge if you're playing ratios and things like that at particular points in time. But that's probably like the people that are really good at doing that is probably a small percentage of the people that are on the chain. So I don't think you need to be chasing sort of those things, because if you get that wrong, you can also blow up your bags as well. You can lose a good 20% of your holdings by getting that ratio wrong at the wrong time. But I think if the plan comes to fruition, we've got fresh capital coming in from the sacrifice. You've got funds maybe getting injected into the charts. We've got green candles popping off. Hopefully that's people can see where it's going longer term and let the cycle play out.
Is this the match that's going to get struck?
It seems like a lot of things are getting set in place, doesn't it?
If you're setting the chess, it's not ProveX, what would it be?
Yeah, it's like you're setting the chessboard up, and then you just got to execute your play. It's been a long time positioning all the different pieces on the chessboard. That's for sure.
Just 2 more weeks. I keep hearing that. Just 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. Yeah. But I think we're coming into the right part of the market. Like we're hearing good things come out from the US in terms of stimmy checks, and maybe they're going into the quantitative easing is about to happen. You got your government's finally going to open again. So things like that.
Was that happening? The last 40 days that was going. Oh, okay. Kind of forgot. All I know is Orange Man likes crypto, and that's been pretty.
That's it. For a he's basically come out. He's basically come out and said, "Look, the whole world's going crypto. AI boom needs digital money. the whole way we look at money as a society is going to get spun on its head in the next coming years. Just if you want to watch something good on that, there was a video, I think it was done maybe a week or two ago now. Raoul Paul had an AI guy on the channel, and he broke down. So basically, you know how when you're dealing with AI models, they deal in tokens, and that's sort of your currency of how much it costs to run your model. He said, well, okay, a human thinks maybe 20,000 tokens a day, thinks maybe 200,000 tokens a day. So maybe what's that over the course of a year? The average salary for someone might be 100K, and they expend so many tokens. But if your AI can expend 10 times more tokens for $100 a year, what's that mean for knowledge workers? So the whole way businesses are going to be valued and money's going to flow, and what does GDP look like? Where does it come from? That is going to get flipped on its head with AI. But digital currencies tap straight into that. So AI agents will be paying directly between each other. So this is going to be like this crazy ass economy that humans may not even be part of. It's bizarre. So yeah, I think we're in the right place in terms of the technology. Every man and his dog has got got a stable coin now, and will continue to do it. So you're going to see more of those pop up, and they tap directly back into this massive EVM ecosystem that we've built out. So yeah, I think it's going to get pretty crazy, I think.
Yeah, I think in the meantime, before the robots take over, hopefully it'll be utopia instead of dystopia. But
yeah,
I think giving yourself an edge with AI is like one of the most amazing pieces I've seen so far. And anyway, I want to wrap up here in a minute, but I just want to anyone in the chat has any strategies for sacrifice, let me know. I know most of you are probably decided not to sacrifice after one day, but boy, we got 20 more days left, and I wonder if there'll be some people change their minds about that. I'll put a little bit in, have a little bit of skinny, just in case. What about it? What if it does? What if it does? Who knows? Who knows? But not financial advice either way. But I'm excited to see it. One other thing I want to cover. I mean, I've bookmarked so many things, and we just don't have it. But did you know we had a tweet that was very much in the way of live streaming, which I'm like, what? I mean, I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. After we keep going up the ladder. Is that the match that strikes PulseChain season? If it's not ProveX, is it a live stream, first one in years from Richard? And is everything good now with the poll and the enter and the or is his lawyers? Yeah, no, it's fine. You're good. It's good enough. Let's go. You got glory to get to. Let's go.
Yeah. Look, people seem to really need him to come out and stream to validate everything. So, if that's what they need, let's do it. Doesn't bother me anyway, mate.
I've seen everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, everyone's. I've seen a lot of people crash out over the past 24, 48 hours. Like, everyone's just lost their shit over this. So it's been quite revealing and entertaining.
Is it? I mean, it's been painful for a lot of people. A lot of people have expectations, timelines that didn't get met. I myself have just been like, oof, from time to time, but I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm here to win. Let's go.
Yeah.
But do you think are these first of all necessary shakeouts? Second of all, are they part of the buckets of ETH and the transferring value? Is that something that there's just too many people who just could not wait got onboarded, and now it's like, all right, like the believers are still here. Like, make sense.
If you are on this chain, mate, you've got to be a believer. You've been through hell the last few years, so like you're always going to have people that have more than others and will sell down, and that's just the nature of markets. Good to get some of those out early if we can, but man, if you're still holding your cause at this point, you've locked in. Like you've been here for a while. The and I think it's a matter of perception. So was this sacrifice meant to be a shakeout? And I don't think that's the intention. Like, there will be people that probably do get shaken out, and they're probably saying that because of not including the cause, it was definitely we've seen it on the chart. People sold cause to go into it, so there was always the potential for that effect. But I think he's been pretty clear that you shouldn't be doing that. So if you're doing it, then maybe, yeah, you needed to be shaken out. Or maybe you just don't read, or I don't know what. People clearly don't read if they're sending hex and stuff to the contract.
Oh, man. Just follow, yes, please follow the rules that are not, where are they listed? Tell me. I'm like, what am I supposed to click on? I didn't even know how to get to this at first. I'm like, where's the data? Okay, let me click here. So I guess I think actually,
I haven't even connected. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, I guess you just have to look at this and be like, do I have one of these? Do not send anything else. It could be. Yeah. That could be. I mean, I guess he doesn't want to talk about Hex or PulseChain, which I'll get your take on real quick before we leave. But that's probably why it doesn't say do not send Hex or PulseChain on the thing. But yeah, what do you?
Yeah, I think a few people got caught out with that last time, where they just make an assumption, and rather than go to this website, they just flick the coins across to the address, to the SAC address, rather than actually use the UI, because you don't need to use it. You can just send your coins straight across. I think if you're doing Bitcoin or anything like that, I don't even know if that's accepted. But if you're doing,
you got to generate an address or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you must do it through there if you're going to do Bitcoin. Otherwise, you won't get your credits. But if you're doing the EVM stuff, then you can get away with it. So I think, yeah, like you, I haven't even connected a wallet to this site yet, so I'm not sure if I'm missing some of the data or not.
Somebody put in $5 here.
Yep,
$5. All right. What do you think you don't talk about Hex or PulseChain on the ProveX website? Like, literally, it's not an inch on here that talks about it.
Good question.
Not an inch.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not to water down any messages or confuse anything, I guess. Or yeah, not sure, mate. Don't know.
We're gonna find out. We got 19 more days of speculation to go before the first phase.
So that's a good question. Then how is this getting marketed to people outside of the community? Like, if you're part of PulseChain, you're on crypto Twitter, you know what's going on. But outside of that small group of people, who the hell knows what ProveX is? Like, how's that message getting out? I'm not too sure how that's going.
Well, as soon as that's why I'm like, if you want to distance it from PulseChain, or you want to be like, oh, I don't want to put Hex or PulseChain here because they think Gucci tracksuit or something, or oh, I don't want it to confuse the brand, or oh, I don't want people to first impression, like whatever it is. If it's a distancing thing, then I'm like, but as soon as they Google for ProveX, they're going to see Richard Hart there. So doesn't everyone know? Are there people that know Hex and PulseChain and don't have a favorable opinion of it, but they don't know Richard Hart? Like, is there literally a market of like, we can get some people in because they've only heard of one or the other?
I'm not sure of the reasoning behind that. Maybe there's a plan there somewhere, not sure. And maybe there's marketing collateral that will go out and direct people more to ProveX as an onboarding tool. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe an update for the tablets. What would you say?
Get a new question mark? Yeah.
Yeah. What would it say? I know. What would it say? Another 10,000x question mark? Like, I don't know how we're gonna say it.
Yeah. Look, I think he's trying to do good things and position everyone and keep people safe. Whether or not people are listening is another matter. Don't just blindly do things. Like, make educated decisions. And if you're not sure what you should be doing, at least talk to some people and try and form your own opinion.
You can also always watch the show at rhmax.tv and see what we're thinking out here as well. Great segue for that. Sorry, chat, I didn't get to any questions because we got to wrap up, but I think this was chock full of everything you need to know about ProveX, what Jexxa's, the whole virtuous cycle deal, and boy, that gets me bullish too. When I kept watching, I'm like, man, I really want to understand each piece of this, and thank you for creating that and walking through it with everyone too. I hope that gives some people. I hope it leads to what we think it's going to lead to, and it becomes obvious afterwards.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I'm pretty pragmatic. So, and you'll see on Twitter, I'm not one of these people that's spewing my emotions out every second day about because one thing happens or one thing doesn't happen. Overall, I'm positive for the chain and where we sit in the general cycle. I mean, I've built a project on PulseChain, so I'm here for the long.
You need a t-shirt. I don't cry, fag. I vouch.run. Boom.
That's it. So yeah, I'm here for the long haul. I've invested time, energy, and money into the chain, building all infrastructure out. So I wouldn't be doing that if I wasn't positive for where things are heading.
10,000x club. 10,000x club. Yeah, I thank you for building PulseChain. Yeah, if anyone wants to know more about Vouch too, we'll get into it on another show as well to get an update on that. But yeah, Vouch.run, validators go burr. Really cool DeFi project. And we covered on show before, typing RHMax Vouch if you want to see some deep dives. We had some deep dives. Remember those deep dives?
We did. We went deep.
Went deep. Jexxa, where can people, other than what your handle says, very gently, they can read in audio format, where can people find more about you?
In audio format? If the best place to go is hit the vouch.run website. That's basically like the launch pad out to every corner of the stuff of that ecosystem and where you'll get hold of me. There's our Twitter, the Vouch Twitter handle, which I constantly monitor. My Twitter handle's there on the screen, J_Jexxa. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me. From there, you'll find YouTubes that I've done and so forth. And I'm usually out and about on the traps, jumping on everyone else's channel. So
Let's go. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for coming on. Really love to get your perspective on these things. I think you have a very interesting building piece on this. And I think I really like that you're putting out content and kind of sharing your thoughts and being a positive force in the community as well. So I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Let's see if they fuck the chemical one time. Hey, I remember serving some I see from my levels. But this a nigga, this a family. This the mama count. I'm a jumper, my account. I'm so fucking count this. You say with my dude, they can't fully in the little girl. Like a white Westy world with my taste buds. Ooh, that pussy good. Like you said, they know my taste buds. I can't wait to be with this shit. Let me do the extras. Pull up on you, like me, break me down and play a temptress. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Once I drop your DM, you just got to hate them for. Like when you be on extra, I will say it's
This is the greatest thing I have ever seen in my life. This is amazing.